Hey guys, so for day 8 of my Halloween designs, I am going to be doing a super gory, bloody design. So to start off, I'm going to paint all of the nails with this nude color. I do 3 layers total of this color, and I cure each layer for 60 seconds. I do 3 layers because this nude is super sheer, and I wanted to really build up that color and make it as opaque as I could get it. After I get all the nails painted nude, I'm going to be taking various shades of red gel polish along with a brown gel polish and some black gel polish, and I'm just going to sponge those colors on to kind of create like a bloody look onto the nail. So like I said, I am just sponging these colors on. I'm going in with the red, sponging that on. I'll go in with a different red and the black or the brown, and just kind of layer them on to get kind of like a dingy, kind of bloody, dirty look. I wanted this to kind of look like there was like dried blood on the nail. I do layer on some of these colors, and then I will cure real quick and then layer on some more just to deepen the color. I use the same sponge, dipping into each of the colors. I don't use a different sponge for the different colors. I feel like it helps to blend it a little more and to give that kind of depth that I was looking for. And I do this on 2 of the nails. And once I get those colors all sponged on how I want, I do cure for 60 seconds, and then I'm going to go in with my matte top coat and top both of those nails and then cure for 60 seconds. I wanted this to kind of look like the nude was supposed to be like skin, and then the red and browns and stuff were supposed to be like the blood, and I wanted it to be like dried blood, so that is why I matte top coated these nails. After matte top coating, I'm going to do like a blood splatter effect. I just take a straw and dip it into the red gel polish. I make sure the gel polish is covering the entire opening of the straw, and then I blow into it to push the gel polish out. As you can see, it does tend to pool in some spots. It doesn't always come out of the straw very well either, so you might have to try a few times to get it out of the straw. And this is a very messy technique. That is why I am wearing a glove while I hold this nail tip. If I were to do it on myself, I would put some sort of barrier like liquid latex or something. That way I'm not getting gel polish all over my skin. So since it does clump up and like pool pretty badly in some places, I like to take a Q-tip and just kind of soak up some of that gel polish. That way it's not as thick of a glob of gel polish right there. That will help prevent wrinkling when you go to cure. It'll also help to make sure that everything is completely cured. And then I like to cure for 120 seconds just to make sure that it is completely cured, because it is a little bit thicker in some areas. And now for the other three nails, I'm going to be taking this nude sculpting gel clay stuff, and I wasn't sure if it was going to match with the color that I painted the nails. Here I'm trying to compare and like look at and see if I thought it would match or if I would have to mix a little bit, but I just decided to go with it and see. So I scooped out some of that clay stuff and I just put it onto the nail. It did end up matching really well and blending into the nail really well, which was nice. I didn't have to go in and like custom mix a color to match. So I am just putting this down with my cuticle pusher and I'm kind of spreading it out a little bit. I chose not to use one of my silicone tools to do this because I felt like it would smooth it out a little bit too much and I would be able to get like that lumpy look that I was going for. But I did grab my silicone tool to try and smooth out and blend the gel onto the nail. I wanted it to look seamless and like it was all one piece and not the nail with this gel on top. That wasn't really working very well for me. But then I remembered Evie from Long Hair Pretty Nails. She recently did a My Little Pony set, I think it was, where she used some of this like sculpting clay stuff and she said to like smooth it out and like blend them out to take acetone, I think it was, or it was alcohol. It was either alcohol or acetone, and I couldn't remember. So I started out using alcohol at first to smooth it out, which was working. But then I was like, I think maybe it might have been acetone, since acetone will kind of melt the stuff. So then I switched over to using acetone, and that was making it go a lot quicker because, like I said, the acetone kind of melts it, and that's how it blends. But then the acetone was messing up my gel polish underneath and kind of melting that and taking that off. So then I went back to using the alcohol. It did take a little bit longer to blend everything out with the alcohol, but at least that way I wasn't messing up all the gel polish underneath. So I just went around the edges and smoothed them out and blended them out. I kept a lot of the sculpting gel there in the middle because I am going to go in and create like a cut in it. So to create that cut, I am taking the other end of my cuticle pusher and just creating a line down the middle, and then I'm kind of just pushing up the sides to create like a little bit of a ledge or like overhang, I guess. And I wasn't being too precise with it. I did want it to look more rough around the edges, so I kind of just poked at it and kind of moved everything around to make it look like it was like a rough cut in the skin. I'm doing the same thing on this nail, but I am going to be doing 3 different cuts. This nail gave me a hard time. It was not wanting to stay on the stand. I think just with how much pressure I was having to put on it to blend out the sculpting gel was causing it to pop off of the putty stuff that it was held on with. You're gonna see me struggling pretty bad with this here. Also, that part right there where I was picking off some of that gel, it was hard, so it somehow cured, I'm not sure, or it just hardened, I don't know. So I just took those bits off if I came across them, because I couldn't do anything with them. But like I said, I struggled getting this nail to blend out nicely because it wouldn't stick on the stand very well. And because I was having so much struggle with this one, I did the 3rd nail off camera, so you won't see me do that, but it's the same thing. I did the same thing that I did on these other 2 nails where I put the sculpting gel down, pressed it out, blended the edges, and then made the cuts. And after I got the cuts on the nails and how I wanted them, I did cure for 60 seconds. Now that I have gotten all of the cuts onto the nails, I am matte top coating all of them and curing that for 60 seconds. And now to make these look like actual cuts, or like bloody cuts, I am just taking those same reds, browns, and black to create the blood on the inside. I did this similar technique when I did the bones nails, where I just take some of the gel polish and kind of swirl it around and like splotch it on with my brush. I will just grab up whatever color I'm wanting with the brush. I don't clean my brush in between each color either, and I just kind of swirl them around, blend them a little bit, but not mix them up completely to where it just forms one new color. You can kind of see the depth and the different colors that are mixed in there. So for this nail, I wasn't really sure how to make it look super realistic. It wasn't really looking too realistic for me and wasn't really looking the way that I wanted it to. So I thought to bring some of the reds out of the cut to make it look like it was dripping or like oozing blood. And then I did try to do like a speckled type of like splatter look on the nail, but it still just wasn't really working out, and I wasn't liking how it was looking. So I just wiped off everything that wasn't there in the middle of that cut. I kept the middle part there because I liked how that looked. I just didn't like what was supposed to be blood dripping out of the cut, or like the speckles. I took that off. But after I did wipe off those bits that I didn't want anymore, I did go ahead and cure what I had in the middle of the cut for 60 seconds while I moved on to the other nails. So moving on to the other nails, I did the same thing for the inside of the cuts, just applying those different colors and swirling them around, blending them a little bit. So my whole goal for this nail set was to make it as gross and as realistic as I possibly could. So with these cuts, just blending and adding on those colors to create the depth and dimension that you would see if you were to actually cut yourself pretty deep. One of the best ways to get that depth is to add a little bit of black into it. It makes it look like it goes way deeper than it actually does. So add a little bit of black there into the middle, and then blend that out a little bit and add more of those colors on top. You'll see what I mean by that in a little bit. I do that right here where I talk about adding that little bit of black just to make it look a little bit deeper than it is, and then adding those other colors on top. Like I said, just makes it look a little bit deeper. And it was here where I also realized why these cuts weren't looking as realistic as I wanted. And it was because I wasn't adding the blood onto the frayed skin or like the shredded up skin parts and like the little surrounding area around the cut. So it was just looking kind of flat at that point until I started doing this and kind of getting a little more messy with the gel polish and kind of spreading it around so it goes onto the edges of the cuts and like the surrounding like skin area of the nail, and that really brought it all together and made it really look like these were like opened wounds almost. And as you can see, when I'm doing this, I'm not trying to be precise. I'm not trying to be careful. I'm just kind of dabbing on and jabbing my brush around to get it to look more realistic and not so even and precise. That's what I love about nail designs like this, where I don't have to be so precise and particular about what I'm doing. I can just kind of go at it, not think about it really, and it'll look good no matter what, really, because it doesn't really matter what it looks like. So I just mess around with it and just keep adding on the different reds and the brown and the black onto it until I like how it looks. Once I get it how I want it, I cure for 60 seconds. And then I move on to the last nail and I do the same thing on that one. And then after I finished that one, I did go back to the first nail I did and went in and did like the little surrounding area of it. I didn't do that on camera, I don't believe. For this nail, I kind of messed up a little bit and added too much clay and made this cut way longer than what I wanted. I could have removed it, but I didn't think that it was going to affect it as much as it did. I thought it would still be fine. Um, but seeing it compared to the other two, this one looks the least realistic, like as to how a cut would look, I feel like. I also feel like there's too much extra of the clay like hanging off the sides to be like the skin flaps or whatever you call those. But it is what it is. This is how it ended up. It still looks really gross and gory, which is what I was going for. I just wish I would have done this one a little bit differently when it came to the sculpting part of it. So after I get all of the like bloody parts done, I do go in with my shiny top coat and top coat those middle parts. I do go over some of the larger like blobs of the red around it, just to make sure those were shiny. The smaller little dots and stuff I didn't really worry about too much, just because I didn't want to risk getting the shiny top coat onto the matte part of the nails and then having to go over the matte part again. Then I cured for 60 seconds, and while I was curing, I realized I didn't top coat the blood splatter on the other two nails, so I did off camera real quick go over those with a shiny top coat and then cured those for 60 seconds. And this is how they came out. I absolutely love them. I think they are so gross and gory, which is exactly what I was wanting for this set. Seeing them all together, I do kind of wish that instead of doing this on those two nails, I would have just done the like cuts on all of the nails. I feel like that would have been even more gross and gory. I also feel like this nail is a little empty, and I could have put a couple more cuts, like smaller ones up at the top and the bottom of the nail, just because the other two that have the cuts, they're more filled and they take up more space, and I feel like that looks better with there being more space taken up by the cuts and stuff. I also kind of wish that the red that I did for the blood splatter, I wish I would have mixed it up a little bit to make it a little bit darker, like add a little bit of brown to make a darker blood color. I feel like how bright it is, it looks a little weird compared to how dark the rest of the set is. I just feel like it's a little too bright and looks a little too fake and not as real as the rest. But overall, I love this set, and I feel like it is the perfect, like, gross, gory Halloween set. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.